Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network, brought to you by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapons with Doghouse Systems. Audible, find your next great read at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter, and by GoDaddy. Put your website to work while you play.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every...
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 198. I am very happy to be back, and of course joined by my fellow absentee, my fellow truant MMO reporter, Mr. Pantless Wonder himself. Hello, Layanor.
Jeez, it sounds like I'm going to get a blue slip from the principal's office or something.
A little bit. That's okay. We'll survive.
You're expelled!
And here comes the principal, of course, the principal designer of Too Many Cooks, Mr. at Harry Hall.
Oh, God, I wish I had that credit on my name. Credits.
Yeah.
Anyway, hi.
And, of course, the master of all bills that we have on the show, the best bill out of all of the bills that I happen to know, Mr. at MMO Bill. Hi, Bill.
Hello. How are those new lady parts treating you after that got
Shut up.
welded on?
Okay, fine.
I want
That's
to
it.
see.
No, that's it.
Your voice is a bit higher than
Every time you guys go there, that's what's coming at you, just so you know.
Wait to
Noted.
jump on a meme that's 2 weeks old. Way to go. Too many cooks, too many cooks.
Okay.
Damn you! Stop it, please.
Now
I'll
you know.
behave.
Okay,
I'll
behave.
I'll
Behave.
be good.
Good man. All right, guys, we've got a show to do, and we do not have too many cooks in the kitchen on this one. So let's
Make it stop. God, please make it
I
stop.
cannot tell you how much this hurts to laugh this much. It just physically is painful, but I'm gonna keep going because it's worth it. All right, Layanor, get us off this track. Tell us what you've been doing in game.
I have actually been into the moors in Lotro doing a lot of PvP, and I'm actually past 50%.
Oh wow! So you've only got what, another year and a half to go?
Yeah.
Boat.
Other than that, I was in Guns of Icarus, and I've gotten to level 19.
Oh, nice.
I thought leveling was actually really, really slow in the game, and I stopped playing it for a little while. Then they updated the game to an actual experience point system along with getting experience with your achievements.
Yeah.
And I decided just to sit down with it one day and just play through and, just see how much you do get while you're playing. And you do get pretty like a good amount. It doesn't feel like you're grinding a long time to get levels in it. So you are gaining levels at a really good rate. And even one of the moderators, the moderator that recognized me from the last time that I was playing all the time, seen me again and was talking to me a little bit. And I asked about the leveling system. They said that they've been working on it for quite a while and improved it, and they were happy that I was leveling.
Awesome. That sounds like fun. Not the more stuff, of course, because that sounds dreary as hell. But anyways, moving on. Bill.
Moving on, Bill, what have you been doing?
Mine's easy, actually. I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft, and that's pretty much it. I'm loving getting back into WoW. Like I've talked about recently, it's a lot of nostalgia, but a lot of it's been functional too, because I had a little chat with Chris. Chris and I are trying to put together a little +1 keyboard project for World of Warcraft here, and he begged me and pleaded, don't level past us, Bill. Don't level too fast here. We want it to be roughly the same so we can do the same broadcast experience. So, okay, fine. I abandoned my shaman that I was just trucking nicely through Draenor with, and picked up a Death Knight and trudged my way through Cataclysm stuff, through Pandaria stuff, and parked him right beside Khadgar in Orgrimmar, which is where basically the next step is taking you to Draenor.
You got through that much in a week and a half?
That's what I did. And then the next day, Chris said, okay, let's just change the project. Everybody level as fast as you want.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Chris is like, yeah, that's just so accurate, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I still enjoyed it. It was actually a really cool thing. Harry, I talked about it very briefly with Harry last week, but it's a very cool comparison. Like, I get to do a really quick compressed comparison of the 3 most recent WoW expansions and kind of see what they've changed and how it's migrated and everything. It's very cool. I also found my favorite Steam review ever. It's a Civ 5 review. It was posted on November 2nd, and it's a fella that said, I only played a little, but it was fun. Recommended. Dude has 2,105.9 hours on record, and the 0.9 is what makes it crazy. So,
Yeah.
so just played a little.
Just played a little
There's
bit.
actually there's a Tumblr blog that aggregates Steam reviews like this, but without the actual title of the game. So you get remarks like, "This game is totally broken. It's not worth the money." 1,244 hours played. You know, one of the the list goes on. It's amazing. Like, I spent some time with it, but it's not really that much fun. 800 hours played. I'm not making these up. These are actual. It's ridiculous.
Oh, that's glorious. Speaking of ridiculous, what have you played this week, Harry?
Well, there's one game that's kind of interesting to our discussion later on in the show. But I've played Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm about 13 hours into the campaign, and as I'm told, that's basically not even getting through the tutorial yet. It's a massive game, and it borrows a lot of structure, I think, from MMOs we know, and combines it with a sandbox environment. And it is a fantastic BioWare RPG. It's exactly the game I want in December. It's the winter game. You just pull up a blanket and dive into the world, and it's
And you're
wonderful.
playing it on PS4, right?
Yes, and it looks gorgeous. It runs very well, except for the one crash to desktop that I had. I'm not sure what happened there, but I haven't had any problems since. And as I said, I'm not 13 hours in, so I think I've got a good sample of how the engine runs. There's some slight stutter in the cutscenes, but the actual gameplay runs at a steady 30 frames a second. I feel like I'm...
Here's my thing, and I've played all the Dragon Ages. I played Dragon Age 1 a lot.
Yeah.
And I played Dragon Age 2 not that much on my Xbox.
Right.
I did not like the experience on a console of playing an RPG like that.
I've heard many people say that.
But was it Dragon... Because I've heard horrible things about Dragon Age 2 in general. That it just wasn't the same experience that Dragon Age 1 was, whereas I find Dragon Age Inquisition very much is a clear link to Dragon Age Origins, whereas I didn't feel that with Dragon Age 2, and I wondered if it was the console. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the game.
There are the story is slightly more complicated because Dragon Age Origins had a different combat system on the console version than on the PC. The PC version, I've played both versions. PC version, you can pause at any time, position your guys,
Right.
and use some
Dragon
tactics.
Age.
Well, yeah, that for PC players, that is the Dragon Age experience. And the console version, which I played a lot on the Xbox 360, was much more action-oriented. It was still kind of tactical, but not as much as the PC. And Inquisition is identical to the PC version. So it's exactly the same system where you can play it as an action game. For example, if you have some easy mobs to fight, you can just go and use your spells and fire them off. But you can also just hit on the PlayStation 4. It's the touchpad. You hit that, the game pauses, and you can switch from guy to guy, issue orders, and accelerate time to see what happens. Then pause it again. So and especially if you're doing a complex fight, that is the way to go.
And can you set up the if thens basically? To talk in programming language, if your health drops, you got that on PS4 as well. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
you can customize the AI behavior of the guys that you're not controlling. So
sorry, go ahead, finish.
No, please.
What class are you playing? Race and class.
I'm a human mage because that's the way I roll.
Yeah. See,
and it's actually interesting for the story because of the whole mages versus Templars setup. It's interesting to have a character class that's involved in the story in that way.
Yeah, and that was my first character too. My problem right now is that I have one of each character class because the more I play one, the more I think I want to play the other, which the more I play, the more I think I want to play the other. And I like all of them a lot. The play style for all of them is really cool. And I can't
But
pick.
you do realize that you can actually take control of your party members as well.
Not the same. It's not me.
I know. I have the same feeling, but still, I feel that if I grow tired of playing the mage for a while, I can jump into the warrior and make him or her my main for the gameplay purposes, or the rogue, which is also a very interesting character. I know what you're saying. I have the same feeling. Like it's not exactly the same, but you do get that variation in gameplay anytime you want it. So I don't feel the need. I don't feel compelled to change my actual main character for gameplay purposes.
And what I'm probably less far along than you are because I'm been jumping around like that, and I've also been playing a lot of the multiplayer. I actually did an episode of First Report. Episode 9 is all about the Dragon Age Inquisition multiplayer. And you guys remember when I talked about Shadow Realms from PAX and came back so excited about it, right? Uh-huh. There's so much similarity. I'm wondering if they saw what they were doing with Dragon Age Inquisition with the multiplayer and saw that they could build a game out of it. I see, to me at least, who's played both, I see a direct correlation. Have you played any of the multiplayer, Harry? Because I'll describe Shadow Realms if you don't remember it.
I have not because my friend who I want to play multiplayer with got the PC version, and another friend doesn't have his game yet, so I'm actually waiting because I do not like the idea of playing this with strangers.
And that was a bit of a problem in that sometimes I'd get people just drop, and it would take a while for the matchmaking to get somebody else in. For a while, I was stuck by myself in a match. But here, basically, the rundown of it is there's 5 zones, for lack of a better word, but that's the wrong term. 5 wings of a house, let's say. And 5 wings that you go through sequentially, one after the other, 1 through 5. You can't go 1, 4, 3, 2, 5. You go one to the other. And in between each wing, there is a little catch your breath room where you can click on an item and everybody gets all their health back. But you can't get any health back until you get to that point. And if you die, you can get rezzed. But if you completely, like if you get knocked down, you can get revived. But if you don't get revived and die, you respawn at that when your party gets to that safe room. And then you go through this 5 steps. And Shadow Realms, if you take away the Shadow Master, the sort of bad guy that's player controlled, is basically the same format. Like exactly the same format. And I got a lot of feeling. I really enjoyed the multiplayer, and I think you will as well, Harry. It's got some nice progression to it. Not quite MMO enough. That's kind of why I covered it, because I was hoping it would have some MMO elements, and it does have some MMO elements, but it's very much like a Call of Duty. where you are sort of gaining levels. The difference is you can only start with either a sword and board warrior called the Legionnaire, a keeper, which is a standard mage, or an archer. Everything else you have to either find the piece of armor or craft the piece of armor to unlock that class. And crafting takes quite a while. Probably take you, for the first one, 5 or 6 hours of gameplay time. Before you'll unlock that one, and then after that you're getting enough materials that you'll be able to craft it more often. But overall, kind of fun, but not quite as MMO-ish as I would have liked, I guess. But that's no fault of their own. That's more of a personal thing.
It's not what they were going for, probably.
Oh, totally. Like it's not a fault in the game. It's not a fault in me. It's just. Yeah.
No, you're just making the distinction for what to expect.
Yeah.
It sounds very interesting. It's just the game itself, the single player game is so massive and has so much to offer that and that's what I wanted. The fact that it has multiplayer, it's almost like if you hadn't mentioned it now, I would have probably just skipped over it completely. I'm going to try it this afternoon because now it sounds interesting enough to just give it a go for a couple of minutes and see how I will like it. So, Dragon Age Inquisition, it's a fantastic game, and I'm really looking forward to spending a lot more hours into that in my my Christmas vacation. So that's Dragon Age. Final game. I had the best hour of gameplay this year playing Grand Theft Auto 5 online. A couple of friends and I jumped into the game just to see what would happen. And Grand Theft Auto 5 online it's hilarious. The only thing you need to do is just you jump in and see what happens. And the first thing that happened was my friend went through the tutorial, popped into the game and says, "I want to kill Harry." I stood next to him where he spawned, and I shot him in the face right after he finished the sentence. We were just another friend of mine. He's a YouTube streamer. He has a big audience, so we had a lot of people actually watching our shenanigans in the game. He and a friend said, "Okay, we're gonna go to the army base. We're gonna steal a couple of jets. We're gonna get there. We're just gonna see whatever." And we were driving across. The state. Urban and I sitting in the back seat, just basically enjoying the scenery, while the other guys were basically ramming everything. 4 guys in the same car in a virtual game was ridiculous as a situation that it was. And halfway the car trip, and we're a good 10-15 minutes driving because it's a huge game. All of a sudden, Arjan, one of the guys, just hits the wrong button and falls out of the car. I'm sorry, it was hilarious. I mean, you're just sitting there like, what happened there? He repeated the same thing in a helicopter. The greatest thing was we tried to get into the army base. But if you approach the army base too closely, you get the entire army sicked on you. You get 4 stars, and tanks will go... That's my alarm clock telling me I have to wake up at 8. That's optimistic. The only way to get onto the army base is to basically make a big run with your car, going over a hill and just jumping over the fence and trying not to get hit by the tanks. And the only thing I can say when you're making a jump like that is, how are these juke boys going to get out of this one? It is a great game just to have mayhem. It loses a lot, and you had to be there, obviously. It is just ridiculous fun without ever touching a mission or a race or anything. Just 4 guys in a car going crazy in a city. It's fantastic. I cannot recommend this game enough.
Just for you, Harry.
Just a good old boy.
Thank you.
Play that on the stream.
There you go.
I had a great time. And it is a very multiplayer, a very MMO-like experience. You have player housing, you have persistence of character, you have persistence of your possessions, like your car, your outfit, everything. The only thing that's not totally persistent is kind of the people who are on your instance. but it's so easy to swap. If I'm spawning into the game and my friends are in another instance, I can just hit join and be there, and it's seamless. It's almost seamless. There's a short loading moment, and then you're there. And it is Grand Theft Auto, the MMO. It is, and it is fantastic. PlayStation 4.
I never would have gone to that place to think that Grand Theft Auto is what creates the great online MMO experience. I in my head, I haven't tried it yet, but in my head, I imagined it as Grand Theft Auto mashed together with a bunch of people, and that's it.
The great thing is it has a mission structure. It has a progression system in the sense of you have your character stats and your abilities that grow by using them, and you have the money that actually provides you with the ability to purchase real estate or cars or add-ons, and it is a full MMO experience without subscription and without any. It doesn't feel like you need to grind anything. You're just having fun there. It's one big, glorious, ethics-free party.
Very cool.
Awesome. Now, did you play GTA 5 online on any of the last gen consoles?
Please don't get me started. It was, oh god, it was so terrible.
But was it just stability, or what's changed?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was the problem. It was not only was it stability because the game was at first not even launching properly.
Yeah.
There was a making that took like 30 minutes before you were spawned into a single player tutorial. Just people
I had that
watching
issue. Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
everybody had that. It was terrible, and the frame rate was not that good. It was a lag fest. It was just not working well enough for me to get back to it when they fixed everything. Now on the PlayStation 4, a much more powerful machine, better graphics. They sorted out a lot of the network issues, even though it's on the PSN, which is a network issue in and of itself. It just works well enough. I had no problem hitting my friend in the face with a shotgun. So what more do I ask for? He was actually in a parked car. So terrible. He was actually in the pause menu. I have to admit this. He was looking at the map trying to find where everybody was. And he went like, hey, what happens? Who's shooting me? Well, yeah, well, you said you were going to shoot me.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Then he went, well, it's like civilization all over again. So I shot him again.
You're such a griefer.
That's also a good one. I've actually seen this happen, and I just if you are in a car, other people can join you on the back seat. It's fun to just ask people, tell them over voice chat, please get in, and once they are near the car, just move a couple of feet, and move a couple of feet, and then run over them. I'm sorry, it's so much fun.
Such a jerk. Harry.
Oh. And I've done that in game too.
Oh man.
Okay, Chris, what did you do in game?
Played some WoW. Almost level 96, I believe. Leveling nicely. That's fun. Rift as well, going through that expansion. Lots of expansion, just trying to get through that content. Having more fun in WoW than Rift, which surprised me because I really just liked Rift better for a long time. And I don't know if it's just that I've tired of Rift and it's a temporary thing, or if it's a permanent thing. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with the content in Rift, with the expansion. It's good content. Why am I being drawn to WoW more? It's hard for me to put my finger on it. I think it's a big part of it is the group that we've got going with Bill and Josh from Happy Hearthstone and WoW Pet Battle Crew. But as well, I think it's the incredibly strong narrative that Blizzard is putting out that is much more intertwined with the game. I can't ignore it. I know the story in WoW. I don't have to sit there and read quest text. And that's with the pop-ups that they do, with the missions that are story-based. I've only really had one mission that's stuck out in the Rift expansion so far. and there's just more in WoW, and
The good thing about WoW too is, and this is what I've really been noticing that's very engaging, is that Draenor is very much its own expansion, but it is built on a foundation of a previous expansion that they haven't really built on, but was also just a story blast. And they don't there's not a lot of hard referencing. Like, it doesn't go back and just obviously say, oh, this is totally a rehash of Burning Crusade stuff, but just little tiny hints. Like, you start to recognize areas in a zone that were sort of similar to a zone that you played in Burning Crusade.
Yeah. Mushrooms.
And it's almost subliminal in how it hits you. It's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is going to be the first time since Wrath that I've had a max level character in WoW.
But
So-
it's not that odd. That, I mean, you need a variety in your gaming diet.
Yeah,
I mean, it's normal. And I've had a 7-year Lotro binge. I don't think I have to explain to anybody that there is a point that 7 years is enough. That doesn't mean that Lotro is less fun. It's just, come on, 7 freaking years.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, we'd already talked about Dragon Age Inquisition. Elite Dangerous. I've been following the game more than I've had a chance to play. I hadn't had access to my main computer for a while. My mom was here taking care of me after my surgery for a bit, and she was in here, so I just had my
That's
laptop.
So nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. And so I didn't have my main computer, so I did jump back on today and started to do some things, and you really have to build up from scratch. And
That's the
I am
reason.
using
That's-
the T-Flight, the Thrustmaster T-Flight hottest system, not hot ass.
Thrustmaster, hot ass.
The
How
throttle and
much was this
joystick
again?
system. And
What kind of surgery did you go into?
and I'm really
yourself a
having
hot
fun.
ass.
Okay, Harry, do this because I know you're really into Elite Dangerous too, and I know that Bill's got access. And Layanor, you've got access too, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
do
but yeah.
this. Go and high speed land on a landing platform on a station while playing Interstellar's No Room for Caution from that soundtrack, which is the one. How many of you have seen Interstellar?
Not yet. So no spoilers.
Oh my God, you
I
all
know.
suck. Go out.
no, I
Okay,
d-
no, stop. We're stopping the podcast now. Harry, is there a theater near you that has Interstellar playing?
Yes, but it's not running at 8:09 in the morning.
When's the first show?
8010.
Yeah.
Find out. Go today. Go today. Bill, what's your excuse?
I never heard of it before
Oh
this
my
moment.
God, you're joking.
I
Okay,
kid
that's
you
actually
not.
bad. Have you not heard of Interstellar?
Oh my.
Not even once.
You need to go see
Not-
it. It is 2 hours and 45 minutes of epic, mind-blowing awesomeness that actually
apparently, it's-
deals with gravity and time dilation in an understandable
stop.
way.
I want to be completely blank. I haven't seen it, but I don't want to know anything about
Oh
it. I
my
just know I want to
God.
see it.
Oh my God. So
Do you want to know who the director is?
I know who the director is.
Michael Bay, right?
No.
Tim Burton.
Are we going to play the guessing game? It's
I
directed
know.
by
I know it's the director. I've forgotten his name. Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, yeah.
Christopher Nolan.
Okay,
Yeah.
so anyways, picture this. I'm not gonna tell you what happens in this scene, and I'm not gonna even tell you about the movie. I'm gonna talk about Elite Dangerous now. But basically,
Oh, hang on. Back up,
Yeah.
Chris. There's a problem.
Yeah.
It's only got 74% on Metacritic. I can't watch it.
Metacritic's wrong.
What about Rotten Tomatoes?
So picture this. I'm going in and I do high speed landings at the station, but this is my soundtrack. Okay, let me go ahead a little bit.
Okay, this can make drinking a cup of coffee sound epic.
And but, Matt, you're going in like high speed. You got that music going, and I've got my speakers go. Oh my God, yes, it's so awesome.
Holy cow! They put Chris on some big old drugs.
Oh, so much fun. So much fun. But Interstellar, amazing. I highly recommend it to anyone who is even slightly geeky. It's wonderful. It gets a little bit hard sci-fi at the end, but it's awesome. That's all I will say.
There's not enough hard sci-fi in this Hollywood movie world.
Yes.
But we're talking about Elite Dangerous. You're playing, because I haven't played since they went to Gamma.
Yeah, I'm playing Gamma.
They've actually added Earth, I've heard.
Yes, Sol. You can get to the Sol system. I have not made my way there. I spawned too far out, and I'm just trying to get enough money to survive right now.
Do you know if there is going to be a wipe between this and release?
There may. And that's the problem right now, is they're not saying if there is going to be a wipe or not. And the community, I'm following it mostly through Reddit, is very hesitant to put any time in. It's like putting time into Eve. It is so time intensive.
Yes, exactly.
That the players don't want to put the time in to test this stuff because there's going to be a wipe.
But then
there
again,
might be a wipe.
Well, we at least we know that Frontier is very upfront and direct and very timely with their announcements about big changes.
Yeah, I heard you guys talk about that. Yeah.
Did you play anything else, Chris?
I did. I played Heroes of the Storm. I've got access.
Yes, I do too. What do you think?
Wow, this is good. I don't like MOBAs. Why do I like this?
Well, it starts with Rainier and what's the other person? The one that says to the other, don't overthink this.
Yeah, Uther.
Uther.
Yeah.
It's like, why am I fighting this demon thing? Well, don't overthink this.
Yeah.
And that's basically the game. Is don't think about it, just have fun with these characters.
Yeah, and it's really well done. It's Blizzard. It's really well done. It's easy to learn, difficult to master, which is what Blizzard does well.
It's again with the freaking lanes and everything. I hate that. I'm sorry, I'm not a MOBA person.
No, and I don't like MOBAs either, but I love the fact that every map has some different thing to it. Has a different, the garden one has the seeds that you have to get to do something that is not just a reskin of a mechanic from another map. It's a totally different mechanic. And then there's the curse one where you can curse the other team. And then there's this, each map has its own dynamic. There's some things that carry, like mercenary camps and all that sort of stuff, but there's some things that don't. And I like that. The pirate one, right? So yeah, I have yet to get enough gold to unlock anything but the free characters. But I've only been playing for a few days, so. But yeah, that has been our incredibly long most of the show, what we've been doing in game this week. Wow.
So, Bill, tell us how people can contact us.
Yeah. I want to mention real quick our Patreon campaign, patreon.com/MMO Reporter. Go check it out if you want to support what we're doing here, as well our iTunes reviews. If you want to get mentioned on the show, go to iTunes, give us a 5-star review, and we'd be happy to mention you on the show. We'll talk about Patreon more at the end of the show. So let's move things along to the news.
Okay, so that brings us to our friends at Ubisoft telling us, doing basically a public service announcement to everybody. And they're saying, if you read any early reviews of their new car MMO, The Crew, just ignore them. Those reviews are wrong because Ubisoft tells you it is. And if there's any company we can trust at this point in time about early experiences with games, it's Ubisoft. So there you go. Ignore every review you read. Just trust the people with the PR suits They know best. They know everything.
Yeah.
They know how you should be playing your games. And if you think you're not enjoying them, you can ignore those feelings because you are wrong. Because Ubisoft tells you that you should ignore those first impressions.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So no, go ahead. Okay. So they're saying basically that the stuff that's going to come out around launch time is going to be based on incomplete builds that reviewers were playing on. And my that doesn't actually increase my confidence in the game. Oh, by the way, we've never had a build out there that people could have been able to play that's the final game. Just so you know,
Ubisoft releases this game, The Crew, which is an open world. It's a recreation of the United States with total freedom. You can drive coast to coast and everywhere in between, visit all the states and have some and drive and do races and missions. It's a great idea. It's kind of like Burnout Paradise with what's the other one on the island? Test Drive. This Test Drive game that was also kind of like this. So, but the big thing is it's a multiplayer environment with lots of random players popping up all over the map, and you can race them, and you have multiplayer races with them. You can have co-op races with them. You can create a crew of people and tactically race, and it's a very interesting system. And they are saying, and I think they kind of have a point there. Just like you cannot judge an MMO based on its beta experience. I mean, if I had reviewed The Elder Scrolls Online based on its beta experience, I would have reviewed a single-player game. And I would have reviewed it much more favorably than the actual multiplayer environment that I was forced into when the game launched. The Crew needs this interaction of players in this open world to make it the experience that the designers had in mind. So that is actually a valid point. You cannot judge a multiplayer game if there are not enough people playing the multiplayer game. That said, what Ubisoft is also saying is they're basically sacrificing the first buyers to the experience. So the first people who are actually playing this game at the same time as the reviewers are playing it are not getting an optimum experience. So you're getting this endless loop of saying, people, ignore those first impressions, play the game later, because there are not enough people playing. But if there are not enough people playing and people are asked to play later, then you will not have enough people playing. But you have to wait until you're there. So other people should be playing it. That's what they're saying.
So you just need to get more people playing. Yeah, this is not really... I mean, this is a point when they should have just shut up, to be blunt. They really just shouldn't have said anything, bite the bullet on it, and hope that the amazing game that I'm sure they plan on releasing was building up that hype and building up the gameplay stuff. I have not heard that much about the Crew. I've seen a few people stream it, seen some YouTube videos,
very arcade
and everybody's
racer.
been like, "Yeah, it's kind of fun."
Any
and that's the sort of most I've seen it.
A game like
Harry,
Forza
what do you think?
or Gran Turismo. It's very drifty. It's very floaty. It's very fast. Oh yeah, controller is fine for this experience, and I'm playing it on the console, and it is a very console experience. And I'm having.
So you're happy on a controller, and you don't care. You don't have a steering wheel.
Getting multiplayer sessions going, because it's mission based. So you have these exclamation marks on the map, and you go there and you get this mission. And these can be a straight race, or they can be doing a delivery without damaging the car you're in, or you have to take out a car. It's like takedown, and once you start this mission, you have this option to instantly find other players to do the mission with you or do it solo. every single time I've played I've hit the find other players button. A minute later, I get you're gonna play solo because there are not enough players to fill out the mission. So far, I've only played it as a single player game, and I can say that it is fun, but I have no sense at all of what this game is supposed to be. In that sense, Ubisoft is right, but this is the experience I'm having. If I had bought this game now, this is what I would have gotten as a consumer, which is kind of a half-assed experience if you're going for the multiplayer.
Well, and for me, the message is just, it's crazy, and it's like a big flashing red sign that says "stay away." It's not a big red flashing sign that says, "Hey, come back and try shortly," or try it out and come up with your own opinion. It, to me, says run far, run fast, and play something that might not suck.
I'm not saying it's
essentially
sucks.
when somebody is preemptively saying, yeah, these reviews might not be so good, but you can ignore that because we're pretty sure they're not getting what we're trying to do here before the reviews have even happened. No, that's I'm out. That's terrifying that's
what I get from that.
As a gamer.
To me, it sounds like it seems like they're not going to like what the reviewers are going to say about the game to totally just ignore these reviews and come play the game anyway.
What they should have said was, we're not making this game for critics. We are making art. We are making something that transcends your petty opinions. We are Ubisoft. We are part French.
You know what? That would have been better. That would have actually been better.
I hear a hint coming up. Layanor, what's up?
Okay, so
That would have been a full 25% better. Here, wait, Layanor, let me see if I can lob that up a little bit easier for you here.
Layanor,
that
how
would
many
be
of the games
like
that go to early access make it to
better.
full release,
I
Layanor?
wonder how early access games do. Go ahead, Layanor.
Bill, you're going to take a shot at this too?
I feel like...
Lock and load.
Hey, Layanor, do you have an article in front of you that talks about what percentage of games that start off as early access on Steam?
I have a really big target on me, don't I? Where is it? It's on my back.
Would you say it's taking up 25% of your body?
Sorry.
Okay.
What percentage of your body might be covered with this target? And
I don't even get a chance.
which might be kind of a segue to how many games are on target. Get it? Target? Out of 100 games, say there would be 100 games in early access. How many of those games would have made it to full release so far?
Okay, we are talking about early access on Steam. Now, we're not talking about green-lighted stuff, right?
You're actually
This is only early access things
You're
that
actually honestly asking questions after complaining that we're not allowing you to do the story as is. Then the first moment you get the chance to talk, you're like, guys, please interrupt me. Please shoot me again.
Okay, so some games get early access.
Yeah, and some don't. That's not what we're talking
See,
about.
you
We're talking about percentages.
You're screwing me up. Hold on. Oh, what the hell is the name of the game now? Oh.
Early access.
Camelot.
We're not leaving until I can wait all day. We're not leaving until Layanor has gone to the blackboard and given us the correct answer to this problem. If there are 10 games in early access, how many games of those early access games would have made it to full release so far?
2.5.
Next story.
Yeah, are we?
Actually, this is a good
It
story.
is.
Layanor, do you want to give it a
Done.
go?
Yay! Oh.
I was trying to think of
No,
one
this is
early
actually
access
a
game.
good story
Camelot
here.
Unchained right now is early access, right? Yes.
Are you
Goddess.
are you tapping out here, Layanor?
Jeez. Okay.
What Layanor so eloquently
DayZ, Prison
explaining
Architect,
to
Kerbal
us is
Space
that
Program,
from-
Planetary Annihilation.
Sorry, Layanor, were you going to
There's a
say
few.
something?
Those games that come out on Steam that get early access for people that pay ahead of time to get into early access. Those early access games is from this website that did a study to see how many early access games actually get finished. And it's only been about 25% of them. Now, this study is from March 2013 till, I think, what was
Today.
it now?
Basically until today.
Until today. So yeah, that's been 1,900 titles, or nearly 1,900 titles, and only 25% of those have actually been finished games.
So what we're basically seeing is
You guys can talk now.
what we're seeing is that people who are investing in early access games do not have high odds of seeing their game completed quickly. That's not to say that all those games are a failure. What this study studied
wow.
was at this point in time, how many already made it out of the development process. And mind you, a game like Kerbal Space Program still is early access. It's still not officially released. But it's very much a fun experience, and I would say that anybody who had invested in Kerbal Space Program got his or her money's worth over and over again. So it's not to say that every early access is a failure. It's just that if you are looking for full products, maybe this way of developing isn't as quick or as promising as it at first seemed.
It's a little bit like what we talked about last week, and that the development, having a completely transparent development process is not always a good thing, because guess what? Sometimes games development is messy, and people often don't have a lot of tolerance for messiness unless they're so heavily invested in the game that they're basically right beside the developers in terms of interest in the game actually succeeding. I don't see that being a huge chunk of people in most cases, though. So this makes total sense to me.
Well, do you think that some of these companies will just keep producing a game for early access and just keep producing it because they think that as soon as it comes out, the game's going to get bought up and their money isn't going to be as big anymore that's coming in?
I don't think so. The moment the game is one of the advantages of early access is that you get word of mouth going. So if you're doing a good job as a developer and you have faith in your project, and it does eventually come out, a game like Kerbal has had so much press and so much goodwill from the community, entire modern communities spawning up around it, that I can't see that holding it up longer than necessary is an advantage to the game. No, it's not like you. But for some companies, it might be like if once we go out of beta, we will be judged as a full title, and maybe we're not ready for that yet. So they keep tinkering because they don't have faith in their final product. I don't think I don't think there's a conspiracy here. I think it's what Bill says. It's a difficult process to make a game, and if you have if you have too many cooks, that could spoil the broth. I mean, I'm a writer. I've written a book recently. This summer, I've written my latest novel, and I would not have finished that if I had people looking over my shoulder while I'm doing that. You know, criticizing halfway through the process, and it would have slowed things down immensely. And I think making a game is equally as creative, maybe even more so than writing a book or being a cook.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Really quick
being
and
one of
dirty
many
here. EVE Online has
all right,
posted a video dev
let's
blog
move things along
for
here, Bill.
the Rhea
would love to hear,
release
by the way, what some of
coming
our
out
listeners think about early
shortly.
access and stuff like that.
And this was notable to
All right,
me.
go,
I actually
Bill.
put it in the show notes here because I actually understood it. They talked a lot about the prettying up of the game, changing of the UIs to make the space vistas a little bit more accessible and make that a bigger focus of what you actually see on screen instead of just spreadsheets. Yeah, it's actually it's digestible, it's short, it looks good, and it's basically space porn. So check it out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really cool. All right. Let's do a quick mention of our sponsors here, GoDaddy. They have been our sponsor now for the last few months. They are absolutely fantastic. They, of course, sponsored all of our PAX coverage as well. They have been our hosting provider and where I go to buy all my domains for the last 5 or 6 years now. I really enjoy their services and absolutely love their tech support. They have saved me on many, many occasions. You really have to check them out. If you're going to buy some hosting or stuff like that, use the code MMO30 and you can get 30% off your offer. Or if you're just looking for a domain, we've also got the code MMO149 for a $1.49 domain. So go check it out. And of course, Doghouse Systems. Go to doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMO Reporter, and you can double your RAM on any order. Doghouse Systems is absolutely fantastic, and I love their systems, so you should go and check them out. I want to mention something real quick as we move on into the news here, that Steam has started allowing broadcasting. This is really interesting. Now, next to the join button, you will have a
true.
watch button,
Yeah, it's
and you
not
can
true
watch
at
one of your
all.
friends playing their
you
game.
could-
Now, they do have to
If
set
you
it
go into your friends
so that
list,
they
and
are,
I was testing
are
this out actually just before.
broadcasting.
Sorry
You
to
won't
just
be
jump
able
in,
to
Chris, but I
randomly
can't
go in and
stand
watch anybody.
If you go into
Oh,
your
really?
friends list and anybody
Oh.
who's playing anything, even a non-Steam game, you can actually right-click on them, and there's a Watch Now option. You click on
No,
Watch
I
Now, and
was
it actually
wrong.
sends
So
a message
you
to the
please
person
correct me.
playing the game saying, so-and-so is trying to watch you. Do you want to allow it? And I think there must be some extra options in there because I was only trying to watch. I wasn't broadcasting, but
They'll hit that damn button like 10 times on me.
I did it like
Okay.
twice. Give me a break. Anyway, I tried to watch Layanor playing Guns of Icarus, and it was an interesting experience. It was dirt simple to start, but we couldn't actually get it to work. Like, I could see stills of what he was doing in Guns of Icarus, but the game broadcast never actually kicked off.
Oh, really?
But the
All I
other
seen,
person...
there was a little icon that was up on the right-hand corner that said live, and then there was a little people icon with the number 1 right next to it. So that's the only thing that I seen on my screen, other than the big Steam panel coming up in the middle of the game, and then a chat room came up for me to talk to the people that were on my stream, and I'm like, this stuff's got to go. And
Anyway.
I kind of figured it must not have been connecting because it kept coming up that Bill wanted to watch. So I kept hitting accept over and over and over again too. And so I don't know if it was working or not, but I had no idea that Steam was doing this feature.
Anyway, I also jumped in and tried to watch another friend of mine playing a non-Steam game, and I was actually able to jump into their he was the only one that accepted me to watch the broadcast, but I was able to listen to the voice chat of his entire group. So like everybody that was playing the game, and I'm quite certain none of them knew that I was actually listening. So it actually, I quit because it was a little bit creepy. But anyway, you don't need to start streaming. People can actually hunt you down and try to watch you. A little bit.
Describes
Little
you to a
bit.
T, Bill. Oh, wow. That's kind of scary.
Yes.
bit.
I didn't try to start
You can
podcasts.
start to.
We have an
broadcast
FAQ in the
stuff,
show
and you
notes
just go
where
into
you can
the
see all those
overlay, the
questions
Steam overlay to do
answered,
that.
including but not limited to the things you can and cannot do while you're streaming.
Was that a statement or a question?
Ah, fuck no.
What's a manga? I didn't name
So,
anything
in other
for
words,
manga on my
Layanor
body.
cannot. Can
Mangoes.
he show
He can't
his
fuck- he
pantless
can't-
manga?
He can't fucking swear
Oh,
either. He just has
can
to
he
keep his
swear?
fucking mouth in a fucking normal place where he can fucking behave.
Fuck.
Fuck yeah.
Smooth, really. Fuck
Are
no,
you
you're doing
dumb?
fine.
What they're basically saying is that you have to
So no
actually
swearing,
watch
got
your
it.
language.
was
And
awkward.
I find it a very interesting
Anyways,
choice of Steam
Bill,
to allow
please save
public
us.
broadcasting of people's gameplay, but telling them to behave as people. But people swear.
See, I don't even see how this works because I'm pretty sure that if you went to the core of the internet and actually watched how the core switches and routers and that kind of thing work, I'm pretty sure they're powered off of swear words and
Hate and evil. Yeah.
hate. Yeah. So when you take one of those pillars out, like these, the core of the internet's basically just going to fall over.
But it's,
This is dangerous stuff.
But
This is like risking black holes being created. I'm pretty sure.
It's I can't fathom why this is a thing. I mean, you could why
I
don't
would
they
have to
have
agree
an
with you there. This
option
is scary. I
to
don't
tag
know what's gonna
something as
happen.
explicit?
This is
I'm
the
very
apocalypse.
serious
It's
here. I
the
mean, a
end.
Twitch
No more
stream.
swearing on the
I mean,
internet.
everybody who is streaming currently is basically just doing their own thing, and I honestly think that Steam should not want or try to police the content that people are broadcasting.
To be fair, I would bet $1 that once this actually leaves beta and becomes a product, if it gets out of beta and they make it a product that's going to try to compete with Twitch and operate in that space, they will drop the swearing requirements and allow not safe for work tags or whatever.
I mean, I do agree that content should be tagged. I mean, if nothing else, to protect people who just don't want to be subject to it. And I don't think there's anything at all wrong, for example, for parents to say, I don't want my kids watching a stream where people are just doing raunchy things or saying bad words. I seriously think it's the best way to deal with this is allow people to warn others in advance of what they're going to do and make the receiver have the option to make a conscious choice of what kind of content he or she wants to be subject to. But I don't think a company should limit from the get-go what you can and cannot say. But Bill,
I think if they try, but I think what they're looking at is probably liability, where not what they're looking at. What maybe they don't understand is that when they start to police, then they start to become responsible. It's the what's the safe harbor laws, right? That's why YouTube does the stuff the way they do with their automation,
kind of
where
content stuff,
it means that if somebody puts something on there
I
that
am
makes it past their automation,
on
it's
the
not their
advisory
fault.
board
They
of
can't be
PEGI,
held
which is
liable
the
for it.
ratings agency
it just,
in Europe for
they're doing their
game
best.
ratings. For the US, it's the ESRB, I think. Yeah. So so that's from that point of view. I know
Right.
it is perfectly healthy and normal to say that you want to limit these things.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a liability thing here because it's not illegal to for a child to hear curse words, for example. There's no law being broken there. You have freedom of expression. But there is such a thing as taking good care of your children as a parent, and if you are a company that is responsible, you want to give parents the tools to raise their kids in any way that those parents see fit. And that's the whole thing here.
Yeah.
And you should. Well, okay, I could go hours for this. I don't want to. Seeds of Truth, Bill. What's the truth today?
Seeds of truth. There's a lot of truth in what we were talking about as far as Steam broadcasting. But it's actually Guild Wars 2 that's releasing some truth on us. They've released the latest chapter advancement in their living story, Seeds of Truth. And that's notable because it's fun. It's not a huge patch. But what's actually interesting is that this is now 3 perfectly timed content releases. So December 2nd for Seeds of Truth, November 18th for Tangled Paths, November 4th for Echoes of the Past, and even going back to the Blood and Madness seasonal event that they released on October 21st. It's almost exactly 2 weeks per release cycle here, which is pretty much what they promised. That's notable because of the awful stagnation that Guild Wars 2 was suffering from prior to and for like 6 weeks following the feature pack. So, yeah, Guild Wars 2 making good on their content promises. Whether you like the content or not is a totally different thing, but it's at least consistent. I know. I need to catch up.
I have the same problem.
Can we add more time to the clock, please? I want to play more Guild Wars 2. Time. Between Dragon Age Inquisition, between that, Elite Dangerous, and then all the other stuff that I do. But those 2 games especially are the ones I wish I could devote my gaming life to.
There's a lot of times where my eyes
and
will switch things on me. When I first seen this article, I thought it said Steeds of Truth, and I thought Guild Wars 2 finally got horses.
All other games and focus, but the other ones are too good. They're too much fun.
Yep, really quick. If you've always wanted to play Guild Wars 2, but it was just plain too expensive for you, it's 50% off now through December 7th.
And they're running a bit of a deal too, as well, for the next few days, right, Bill? Awesome. And before we go, we do have a pretty cool infographic here from Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Number. I mean, I realize
I'll go through a few of the stats they talk about here that I found were interesting. 57 million
I can't even
characters
comprehend
created.
what the number is
awesome.
for WoW, but
that's a lot.
Yes, this is a Star Wars story.
So, yeah.
Well, I kind of figured you guys might want to click the button. I do have good ideas every once in a while.
Hey, Layanor, get off Little Inferno. We're recording a podcast here. Oh, hey, yeah, right. We could do that. Let's see if that'll work. Here, let's find my friends list.
It's fascinating radio.
Friends.
Oh, I got friends.
Layanor.
So in the
watch game. Let's see if it
while
works
that's
here.
loading up,
I'll put this up on the browser here as we're in the middle of it.
Been
see if it works.
1.7. This is the number that really jumped out at me when I found the article. Was 1.7.
It's waiting for a response from Layanor.
PvP kills. So for the 57 million for 57 million characters created, that's how many? That's about 500 PvP kills per character created.
Yes,
and you have to realize that not every
you've got to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got to read it like a bell curve. So you got to think about the middle of the bell curve there, having how many kills do they actually have? That's a pretty yeah. It just goes to show PvP's probably a pretty significant part of the game.
There are 17 million
4 billion
Jedi player
NPCs have been
characters.
killed since
Order
launch.
66 would be a tall order, it says. I think that's a good one.
And the most popular lightsaber color is black yellow, black core yellow glow.
Try it again.
Oh, there is a big mistake in the infographic, by the way. It says almost 8 times the length of all 6
Layanor,
Star Wars films.
It's
There are
loading, but
3
it's not
Star
really
Wars
working
films.
here.
Episode 4,
let it
5,
go
and
here.
6.
Maybe they're counting the
3 there are.
Where's that?
Laserdisc edition as well.
Okay,
Well,
that
there's
would,
7 because there's the Christmas special as well.
you shut your motherfucking mouth.
Oh, Laserdisc. Yes, Laserdisc. Yeah.
I think
Oh man, I'm
Yeah.
going to spend a lot of time editing this show.
Yeah, Age of Wushu,
all right,
the
Harry,
martial
you had
arts
a quick
MMO,
mention here as we
that includes the ability to
watch
castrate
the
your
screen
fellow
cracked
players.
out there on Layanor. So
we've gone at
you had a
length
quick mention
in-
for
on that one.
something
Yeah,
coming out in the EU.
we don't need to go there. Please don't. But that's one of their defining features, castration. But it's a martial arts setting, actually pretty cool. Player versus
Oh,
player oriented. Age of Wushu
really?
is now renamed Age of Wulin. Was already announced that the name change would be for the EU. I have no idea why. I don't think the EU would know what a Wushu was, but I doubt they would know what a Wulin was. So I don't see. Age of Wulin is Age of Wushu. Yeah, go figure. But the game is now finally launched in the EU. They went through open beta and now they're out. And that's, I think, a year and a
Wulin
half
is Age of
after
Wushu?
the US launch that we finally get to
Oh.
partake of the Asian delight. Yes, I think it is. But that was basically because the publisher wanted to dumb down the title for the US. I
Is
wouldn't
that like
say
like Philosopher's Stone and
that's
Sorcerer's
a good
Stone?
idea, Mr. Canadian. But or was the Canadian version also the Sorcerer's Stone?
Well, I'm not
Well,
gonna I'm not gonna say anything.
that's the high mark. You know, if you have the Philosopher's Stone, then you're up there. The Sorcerer's Stone's that way down there. But well, Europeans probably
I
don't know what a
think we were
woolen is,
Philosopher's
and
Stone.
we still don't know, and we can find out now through European launch. That's it.
There you go. I'm leaving for live viewers and for YouTube viewers. I'm leaving the Layanor's broadcast up here, trying to get it to work. Don't know if it will. Want to mention our CafePress page for all of you looking for holiday gifts. We've got some pretty cool stuff over on a CafePress page. Really impressed. Layanor put a lot of work into this and got this up and going with some pretty cool stuff, including my favorite shirt, which I do believe I have asked for the holidays. The Harry Hall Was Wrong episode. That was, of course, episode 136, which everybody can remember. And, of course, I just dock blocked you. I like that one. So, yeah, go check it out. If you want to get something, you can get everything from T-shirts to hats to mugs to all sorts of stuff. So,
Actually,
so go
that is
check it out.
pretty cool
Get an
because
MMO Reporter mug.
XYZZY
Be cool.
was the magic word in the original adventure. Text adventure.
That's not as cool as the Harry Hall Was Wrong episode mug, though.
they can give us a visit over at MMOReporter.com, the central hub for MMO
Oh, nice.
Reporter and all the brother
Nice.
and sister podcasts.
All right, so
out
yeah, I
there
wanted to mention that.
in
Bill,
the
if people
MMO
want to get a hold of us,
Reporter
how
Network.
would they
send
do
us
that?
An email, mmo.reporter@gmail.com. You can find us over on Facebook, facebook.com/MMO Reporter. You can tweet at any of the MMO reporters, at MMO_reporter for Chris, at Harry Hall for Harry Hall, at Layanor for Layanor, and for yours truly at MMO Bill. Give us a call at 616-666-778 or click on the voicemail widget on MMOReporter.com. Head on over to patreon.com/MMO Reporter to send us a little bit of your support if you'd like us to keep making podcasts. We probably will still keep making them anyway, but we would love a little bit of how do you do on patreon.com. Finally, visit us over on YouTube, youtube.com/user/MMO Reporter Network for all of our video productions, conference or video conference event coverage, +1 keyboard type stuff, all the stuff that we've basically streamed and decided, yeah, that's good enough to watch twice, put it on YouTube, done.
Can we just do a couple of quotes from the Steam review Tumblr that I've also linked in the notes? Just a little extra bit. This game is utter garbage. 2,012.7 hours played. I played it a few hours, didn't like it. 12,096.2 hours played. Don't buy this piece of cheat. 415.4 hours played. I would not give this game to my worst enemy. 338.4 hours played. Yeah. And my favorite.
Hang on, before you get your favorite, before you blow your
I've got
Tumblr
one.
load here,
Ready?
Harry.
Worst game
Did
of the
not
century.
Download
1,272 hours.
898.2
And the number one Steam comment is, it's all right, don't feel I've got my money's worth. 2,908 hours played. It's the internet, folks. Give it a good hand.
Oh man, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. Hey, before we go, I do want to, as I mentioned, I was going to mention Patreon again. Go check it out, patreon.com/MMO Reporter if you want to support what we do here. It helps us get to all of our conferences. I know we've got Celeste going to PAX South coming up at the end of January, PAX Prime coming up. If we want to do PAX East again, we need your support. So please go check us out, patreon.com/MMO Reporter. We are very, very close to getting to our $100 amount and releasing our brand new song by Harry Hall and myself. So looking forward to that. But I do want to mention our continued sponsors, our continued patrons: Rebecca, Dave, Martin, B. Sly, Adrian, Michael, Chris, James, Angelo, Randolph, Kale, Gumps Gang, Lance, Kurt, and Matt. Thank you so much for continuing to be our patrons. We really appreciate it, and we hope that some of you will consider doing so as well. Layanor, it was fun. Thanks for coming out and recording tonight.
I don't know how you made it worse.
There's actually a song that we use with my grade 7 band. It's all about that bass clef. And then I Knew You Were Treble.
Self-knowledge is, yeah.
For the treble clef.
You're
awesome.
quite welcome. I mean,
anyways.
Goedemorgen to you
I'm a
too.
teacher. That's what I do. I
Hello,
make everything
that's a good
worse. All right. Harry, thanks so much for getting up so early.
Nice.
Goedemorgen. Thank you. I have to phlegm it up a little bit more. And Bill, as always, you and I can pine for our wonderful, I forget the names, but to top our coffees together. Thanks a lot. Screw all of you, and my editing is going to be crazy. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We sure appreciate it. And we even had people coming out and hanging out in the chat room today, which was a lot of fun. Layanor was chatting away with people in the chat room, which was awesome. Thanks for downloading the podcast week after week. We really appreciate it. We hope that you download the podcast again next week. But, of course, most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
There's an audience.
People are listening.
People are listening? Jinx.
The heck are we doing? Oh my god!
Oh, jeez. Is that an audience?
And I'm actually shocked that Chris had a sound effect on cue on the moment that it was actually appropriate to play.
I bet you it was a commercial.
Don't tell anyone it was a Twitch commercial.
I was about to say, what did they do to you in the hospital? Did you get a timing transplant? What happened?
Asshole. Anyways, are we ready?
I am as ready as I'm going to be this
our
winter morning.
Yeah.
It's a go or no go, Bill. Go or no go.
It's a go. I'm trying to decide exactly how
Go launch.
inappropriate a joke I'm going to drop at the start of the show or not.
Go Capcom.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
If you could tolerate, yeah, we can always start the show again if I'm over the line.
Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
It takes a lot to make us
God,
do.
no!
A scoop of kids that
God.
have the spice.
Stop! I hate you guys so
That was smooth. You get points for that. I approve.
You know what? I have to say, the part in the middle really creeped me out.
Yeah, of course it did. It was no.
And the way the music started to go flat. And it was just... I thought you'd like that. Are you ready? Start the show now? Too many. I can't tell you how many times throughout this week in my head has been going, too many cooks, too many cooks.
I know.
Too many cooks.
I wake up screaming that song.
This is hurting so much.
Oh, you deserve it, you bastard.
All right, are you ready? Okay. Here we go. Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
I do this. Look at that.
Okay, this time for real. This time
Yeah, right.
we're really going to
Yeah.
start the show. Okay, here we go. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOReporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOReporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.